BBC, if you want a reality TV show that everybody talks about with a reunion to be remembered, give me a call. Who put this shit together? I was looking forward to watching this reunion all day, and it was on for 20 minutes. Not only that, but I thought, oh, maybe it'll be like the maths reunion where they're all at the table and they're all arguing about their experience. Maybe it'll be about Love Island where they're all sitting together and they all get a chance to answer each other. Was it fuck? Somebody over at the BBC needs to go on the phone. First of all to me, and second of all to a producer that produces an Australian reality TV show. It's the only way to succeed. We began with Hannah and Sam, and the presenter said, "You were the love story of the season." Now, well, I agree. So was Matt and Georgie. They were nowhere to be seen, and he didn't even mention them. Now, it turns out that they two aren't even together anymore, but you would think that the presenter would at least mention their existence. Hannah said that once they left the island, Sam proposed to her to be his girlfriend, and they took pictures on the island when they had their phones, and he gave her a picture that says, "You may be my wife, but will you be my girlfriend?" or something cute like that, and it was so adorable. She says since they've got off the island, they've been on holiday, they've been to festivals, they've been to concerts, and so what is it she's always saying? Up front and left. That's what they've been doing. Now, I'm sorry, but I can't remember the presenter's name. You can let me know in the comments. But he said, "Have you spoke to Megan since she left the island?" Why the fuck would they speak to Megan? Why would they speak to Megan? They didn't even want to speak to Megan on the island. Did they think they were going to go off the island and be like, "Alright, Megs, fancy meeting up for lunch?" Doubt it. Next, they had Annie, May and Tanya. Now, they had all these people separate. It wasn't even in the one room. There was no space for arguing. They couldn't answer each other back. They couldn't defend themselves. What kind of reunion is this? Who came up with this idea? It literally makes no sense. Annie said she felt like when she was watching the show, she was holding a lot back for David's sake, and if she went back on, she would do things differently. And they were also talking about her pulling the green flare, even though she had a feeling that he was going to pull the red flare. And she says, "I went on there to find love, and I just had to be true to myself." Yes. Good for her. Tanya was wearing a stunning, sparkly, long dress with heels. Oh my god, she looked like a goddess. She says that she reached out to Ollie when she got off the island and they spoke, but she still hadn't had an apology from him. And we all know why she hasn't received an apology. Because he doesn't think he's done anything wrong. I'm surprised she even reached out to him, because he doesn't even deserve to give her an apology. He doesn't even deserve to ever speak to her again. The presenter said, "It's a shame you went on the island to find love and you didn't find any," and Tanya was like, "Let me stop you there. May and Millie, you're my best friends, and I feel as if I found love in them." Girl love, oh yeah, that's what I like to see. And I'm glad she said that, because, you know, not all love is about finding a husband. There's more important things in life. He was speaking to me and she had on this stunning lilac satin dress, and I seen her wearing it on TikTok and I commented and I says, "Oh my god, I love this dress." And I think she says, "Oh Polly," or wherever it was, she says where she got it. And I was like, "Okay, well, can I get the figure to put it on?" I can't wear that. Are you kidding me on? I'm a size 14 to 16. And I can tell you, nobody wants to see me wearing satin. She was there to spill the beans, and she said that her and Maury were intimate on the island, and after that he says, "Oh, you're like a little sister to me." And then she says that they were intimate again later. Now, as we know, when we were watching her on the island, she was saying, like, we're meant to be together, like, how can you not see that we're meant to be together and all that. And the whole time I was thinking, she's clearly got feelings for him, and she's confused, like, how she can feel all this emotion and he's not reciprocating it because it's so strong. But he's obviously doing something to give her some sort of signs that he's interested. As a fellow Sagittarius, I know what's going on. She said she left her job to go on the show and she went on there to find love, and she wasn't getting what she was looking for, and she was obviously super emotional, and he was clearly giving her mixed signals, right? And the presenter said, "You didn't flare out, you got to go home with your friends and family." Well, let me tell you something. She didn't actually get to go home with her friends and family, because when Maury said that he wanted to go home with his mum, and he says, oh, should we go home? People are thinking, oh, they must have just flew home with a friend and his mum. You would be wrong to think that, because actually they locked him up for days and they didn't even get to fly home with him. And I know this because she wrote it in a comment section. So after all that, they could have stayed there for the final beach party. What a shame. Now, I do not understand why everybody was interviewed separately, because I would have paid good money to see Maury's face when she revealed that they were intimate. Because who was on getting interviewed next? Oh, you guessed it. Maury, Oliver, Megan and Hannah. And when the presenter asked Maury about his relationship with May, he said, oh, we were just friends, like there was no attraction. And he said, oh, we had May here earlier. And Ollie actually turned round to Megan and went, oh my God. Oh my God, he knew what was coming. And he said, May said that you were intimate on the island. And he says, yes, we were at the start. And then we stopped and we decided to bury it. We decided to bury it. Full stop. End of conversation. Then the presenter said, oh, she says you were actually intimate a few times. And he says, yeah, we were intimate later. Changing his story awful fast there. Somebody's talking shit. Then let me tell you, right, he had the fucking audacity to say, I was clear with May from the start how I felt, she knew how I felt. Yes, it takes two to tango. But he is basically saying I made it clear that we were just friends, that I wasn't attracted to her. But he knew that she did have feelings for him. He knew that she was vulnerable. He knew that she was like falling in love with him. And okay, it does take two to tango, but when he knows that she's in a vulnerable state and she's actually got feelings, what he should have done is kept his fucking dick in his pants. And you can spin it any way you like. Okay, he was clear with her that they were just friends. But if he felt like that, then why was he putting it inside her? You need to ask yourself those questions. Men and women think differently, and he knows that. He knew that she was on that island feeling sad, feeling ugly, feeling rejected, feeling vulnerable, and it didn't stop him. Ollie was just talking about his experience and how he said to Tanya that he wasn't going to test the waters, and then he did, and he says, oh, I wasn't there for Tanya, I was there to be true to myself, blah, 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 blah. I don't know if Oliver's aware of this, but you can be true to yourself and not blatantly lie to people's faces. The presenter said to Megan that your fellow honeymooners were questioning your motives, and she says, oh, they had a snapshot of the situation as if like they weren't giving her a chance. And he was basically saying, like, what was your motives? And she says, oh, I wasn't there to get him back. Right, okay, but were you there for revenge? Because she can say whatever she wants, she wasn't there to get him back, she wasn't there for revenge or whatever. But I'll say what I always say. Show me the application form. If she didn't mention that her ex was going on that island, then fine. She was there to find love for her own journey. But let's be honest. We all know that's not true. Helen said that her and Abby have split up because they didn't really fit into each other's lives. I wonder if she got in contact with that other girl who came on the island that was interested in her. It's very clear that the BBC didn't want any drama at this reunion, but that's how you get the views. It might shock the BBC to know this, but people who watch reality TV want actual reality. Now let's face it, almost everything about the TV is fake, the news is fake, a lot of reality TV shows are scripted, and people just want what's really happening, the real drama, the real love stories. That reunion would have been so much better if you put everybody in the room together and we got to see Maury's face when May revealed that they were intimate on the island, and then May's face when Maury says, oh yeah, we did it at the start and then we decided to just bury it. Oh, lies! Fucking blatant lies. Let me know what you thought of the reunion in the comments. I thought it was absolutely piss. But BBC, my offer still stands. You're clearly needing help. Call me.